Like we in the club, fly flashy, grown classy, so turn to the dub. Saturday mornings, no walk of shame, we fresher. 950 lounge, that's my guilty pleasure. I don't miss my favorite show, I put everything on hold. Work the baby, even the babysitter no. When 950 come on, don't bother. I'm locked in 10 to 1, no problem. Turn on the radio. You in the house, turn on the radio. Yeah.
We're back on the Ride 950 Lounge live Saturday morning. Multitude of networks live coast to coast. Whatever you do, we thank you started here with us. To my immediate left, a gentleman. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't. You certainly have vibe to him. If you're under 30, probably mama and daddy probably made you with his music. He's from Brooklyn, Williamsburg to be exact. He's an Erasmus Hall Dutchman. And he's here at 950 Lounge today. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary, super talented Mr. James D. Train Williams. Welcome to the show, bro.
What's up, man? Glad to be here.
That was such an introduction.
Well, I'm sitting up here. I'm like, okay, the light is on. How you guys doing?
Doing good,
I'm good. Saturday morning. I didn't have my cereal yet, but I'm doing okay.
Did you take the D train up here?
No, I drove. I drove. And that crosswalks reminded me of why I don't drive.
That crosswalks is ridiculous.
I'm like, it's early, and I'm like, okay.
I said, what did Freshie get me? Big shout to Freshie in our photography. Shirley, who always comes through for us. I always leave Shirley an open slot. I just never know what she's going to bring up. Like
She's like our slot machine. We put a quarter in, we don't know what's going to happen.
I'm riding around New York yesterday, and yesterday was my birthday. I'm riding around. I get this call from Shirley. I'm like, I ain't got no headphones on. I don't need to get around. I don't need to get pulled over. I don't need no problems today. I like to stay. Put me in bubble wrap. I don't want no problems on my birthday. No business calls. No none. Here comes Shirley. Oh, can we get D Train tomorrow?
No.
And I said, what you gonna do? Remember to say no to this? No, I'm gonna say no.
Shirley calls us like the mob. We hear the music. Hey, listen, I got somebody that you don't want to take up. Like what
that's just how she call you.
My bad.
Shirley calls me very humble soul.
Oh, really?
Humble
She
soul.
called me like a gangster. You know you gonna put this on, right? Yeah, all right.
I know where you live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's talk about it, man. You've been in this music game. 40 years now?
35.
35, 40.
35, yeah.
So you're talking about, just the catalog is tremendous of music. Talk about how you got into music. Yeah, from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
Brooklyn
I started
kid.
out as a football player. I was a football player for the Erasmus Dutchman. I was defensive tackle. We won
As soon as you got that first hit, you went to music, huh?
No, you know what it was? I was trying to make the squad. I just kept saying, I ain't going to be riding the pine. I ain't going to be sitting on the bench. My mother's not going to be coming to watch me in a clean jersey. So I went to camp and I started like huffing like a bull. And like all the guys that were on offense were seniors. So they're looking at me and they're laughing and carrying on. So, it was hitting day, and they pulled the tackle and the guard, and I split them.
Doing them Oklahoma drills.
Yeah,
I know.
And they split them, and I split the two of them and hit the fullback. And they were like, oh, that was a fluke. That didn't happen. So the coach said, oh, you guys really do this for real? So they split, they ran the same play again, and I split the tackle, hit the quarterback, and it was like, okay, we're going to get this brother named. So they gave me the name D Train, which was the name of the actual train that runs through Brooklyn. We used to take the Church Avenue through Brooklyn. And getting into the music business, there was a lot of guys in our school like Will Downing. You know, Will Downing was like my underclassman. Barry Eastman was our substitute teacher. Harold Perrineau from The Matrix.
Yes.
He changed his name. I don't know what. See, he done changed it so many times for Hollywood. I just know him as Harold. I used to protect him on the second floor by the library so they didn't whip his behind. He'd be like, they gonna beat me up at the Flatbush Arch. So, you know, we used to protect him. He was like our little brother. And now he's big movie star and carrying on. But a lot of talent came out of Erasmus. But the way I got into the game was Will Downer was doing a demo of a song called Real Deal in a studio out in Sheepshead Bay. And Hubert Eads was producing the track. Right. And he had me doing these ad libs, and I went in there. He said, D, just do a little bit of your thing. And I said, and he said, Hubert was eating Chinese food. He said, I don't know if it was Mugu Guy Pan or, you know. But something out of a box. He put something out of a box.
Right. I just know he
put the Chinese food down on the console. And, you know, Hubert's like one of the dudes try to be cool because he's from Minneapolis. He's like, tell him to do that again. Just tell him to do that again. So I did it again. And then he says, oh, good job, brother, good job. And so afterwards, I left the studio. So I'm thinking he's like this cool guy. And Will was like, he started jumping up and down and saying, give me his number, give me his number. Right. We wound up going over to his house on Ralph Avenue in Jefferson in Brooklyn. And I walked in the door, and he's like, man, I got this track, man. I know you can hear it. Do you write? I said, yeah, I write. He says, okay, listen to this. And he threw music on. It was like, down, down. He said, the only thing I can hear is, I'll stand up on the cloud and shout out loud, you're the one for me. And I'm like, I said, what else is there, man? He says, well, what do you hear? I said, play it again. So he played it again. And I said, give me a pad. You got a pad? You know. And I wrote, with this new love I found, takes my feet up off the ground to fly. And we wrote You're the One for Me and Keep On in the same day.
Wow.
Yeah, and the rest was history. But
now it takes a whole month for somebody to write one verse.
Yeah, oh man, I know.
We'll be back next week for the second verse.
But you know what? It's like when you feel it, you just go in on it.
Right.
You know, you go in on it. And it's been a wonderful journey for me meeting a lot of, you know, superstars and stuff like that. Eddie Kendricks along the way, Billy Eckstine, working with Harry Belafonte, Snoop Dogg, Bruce Springsteen, Sting. You know, I think the highlight of my career in terms of studio work was working on Michael Jackson's Invincible. Wow. And we were in there, and we were given strict instructions. Do not look at Michael. I swear to you, man, walk straight to the couch. Because we were at the Hit Factory in New York. They were like, walk over to the couch. Do not look at him. Do not make eye contact. And sit in your seat. It's Mike.
That sounds like Jesus.
I know.
Don't look at Jesus.
So I'm like, y'all. I walked in the door. I was like, yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Because you from Brooklyn. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm going to look at him.
I was like 1969, Ed Sullivan show, 7 o'clock. My daddy let me stay up and watch you. How you doing?
Yeah.
And he just opened up. Marlon, Tito, and Jermaine, they're fine. They're wonderful. And I'm really trying to get off of Sony Records. I don't understand. That Tommy Mottola, such a mean man. I don't understand. I don't really like him. But I was like, I'm still going, all right, Michael, just let it out.
That's why they didn't tell you have to look at it. You're going to expose people.
And all the other singers are sitting there going, I mean, that mouth's dropped.
He touched Michael.
He touched me without the glove. I said, security's getting fired at the end.
They sure did get fired after that.
But you know what? It's like, and I learned through Bruce Swedien, who was his engineer, if you keep it real with him, he'll keep it real with you.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know.
So going back, when you made the one for me, you told us 1981, you shoot to the top of the billboards.
Yeah, 19 years old, man. It was really strange and surreal. Frankie Crocker was the one that broke the record in New York, Francois Kevorkian, and the late Larry Levan in Paradise Garage.
Yes.
And that was a strange situation because I'm a boy from the church, so I ain't never been to like an all-gay club, so it kind of freaked me out because I walked in there, 2 guys was making out in the phone booth. I was like, what? Why? And then somebody grabbed my behind. I was like, oh, no, hell no.
Brooklyn came out of it, right?
Brooklyn came You stand up, you talking about, wait a minute, what? And they made sure that I knew it. It was like, mwah. I was like, wait a minute, hold on.
My name is T-Train, not that T-Train.
They were trying to initiate you.
Yeah, and then Hubert
Detour.
like, D,
My
calm
name
down.
is
We got to
Detour.
get the record played, bro. Just shut up and relax. I was like, oh, man.
He grabbed my butt, not yours. My name is D-Train, not Detour.
Yeah, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey, man. I mean, 35 years later. And you guys have kept my name out there, and I thank you. I really want to thank you guys. It's been an honor being here. You know,
never die.
they always say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yes, sir.
And I think that this is a catalyst to keeping our music out there, keeping it alive, old and new.
Right.
You know, this is where it starts, and I want to thank you guys for keeping it real, because a lot of times people fall into the machine. You know, you don't have a machine that says, you can't play such and such, or you can't have so-and-so on your show because it's not our format.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. Yeah.
Whereas that door is open.
Yeah.
It's not a closed door, it's an
Let's
open
talk
door.
about the machine. Now,
Okay.
obviously, from 81 to 2017, a lot of things have changed.
Oh, yeah.
The technology aspect, records, the whole bit, how the artists get paid,
Yeah.
the whole litany of the game. You've been at the epicenter from 81, number one hit, global hit, to still working now. What have you seen that, you know, you feel like, wow, you know, this is not good? Or what has like made you think like, you know what, I maybe not even want to do it no more from a business aspect? What's some of the things that you see that's you're not feeling now in the world of music on the business side?
Well, in '88 for me, my career was like on the downturn. It was my second album on Columbia.
Right.
I was getting booed off the stage at the Apollo Theater because I wasn't hip hop.
Right,
you know,
right, yeah.
and Teddy Riley and New Jack walked
that
in,
was the New Jack
and it was like Keep Sweating them doing their thing. So it's like you up there talking about keep on. They're like, hey, come on, old
You
man,
didn't have
go
that
sit
lady in the
down.
first row throwing panties at you?
Nah, man, I
She
ain't
was
never.
probably throwing the finger at you at that time.
Yeah, she was like flipping the bird, man. And so, but it was interesting because it changed for me. What I saw was that hip hop and R&B merged.
Right.
And what happened was we weren't no longer writing songs about love and understanding and how to treat a woman. We was like, drop the drawers, give it to me now.
Right.
And next week I got Susie on.
New school.
I'm saying, and it wasn't about embracing a woman, because it was like back then, you had to learn to do woman.
Romance,
You had to romance the woman.
you did.
And you had to imagine, because she had all her clothes on. Now everybody got their clothes off. I mean, you go to a club, the wrong person got the leotards on. And you sitting there going, why? You know, you're going, oh my God. But the interesting part about it is like when R&B and hip hop merged, I was the guy that was like, you know what? When everybody's going left, I'm going to go right.
Right.
Even musically, that was just my moniker. And I wasn't going to pull my jeans down to here and start talking about, yo, B, so. Nah,
Right.
wasn't going to
Not
go
your
there.
style.
Because if I couldn't sing it in front of my mother and my dad, wasn't going to do
That's
it at
well
all.
said. That was a lot of artists felt that way.
And it's changed a lot. I mean, we've gone from 12 inches and albums and cassettes
Right.
to now downloads, you know, digital downloads, which is changing again because, you know, we went through the whole moniker of DAT tapes, mini disc. And for those of y'all that have been along on the journey, you know, and now we're at downloads, but that's flipping again because it's going back to albums.
Yeah.
Because, you know, after working with the Boston Pop Symphony Orchestra last year, all the kids at Berkeley College are buying LPs.
Yeah.
And so now you got to go back out and you have products to sell them, but you don't have stores to sell them in.
Exactly.
And as a country and as a nation, we did the wrong thing. We got rid of Tower Records. We got rid of Virgin Superstores.
Yeah.
So now there's no place to sell your music. There's no place to buy your music. And guys like myself, I've learned how to navigate in this game, but my compadres don't.
Yeah.
You know, when you look at a lot of bands like D-Train, so what do I do next?
Yeah.
You know, a lot of them don't own their publishing, so the publishing is getting played everywhere else. And well, how am I supposed to collect? Because the only place I know to collect from is BMI. Anything else that was a record label, there is no more record label. So how am I supposed to collect my artist royalties?
Right.
But now there's something called the 1978 Act, where all of your rights and intellectual properties are turned back over to you after 35 years as a songwriter.
Right.
Okay.
I say this to all the brothers out there and sisters who are songwriters in the game. It's called the 1978 Intellectual Property Rights Act, where all of your rights as an artist, as a publisher, as a songwriter, including your masters, are turned back over to you after 35 years in the game. And so you can own it, and then you could perpetuate your own madness. Sell it.
Right.
Or put it up on the market, re-release it, remix it, do whatever you want. If somebody wants to use it for a music video or for a film or, for their record, they got to come through you now. They got to come through, and they have to pay you now. So you set the bar, you set the price. And so the people say the negative thing is that it went digital, but I say the positive thing is that it went digital. I always try and turn, chicken into chicken soup.
Chicken salad.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm so glad you helped me with that.
Salad,
Chicken
yeah.
salad.
I'm gonna use that in the song.
Chicken salad and chicken soup. But what happens is when you turn it into that, the digital domain is in our hands because Prince showed you can't watch my videos unless I say so.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You got to go to Purple Rain or whatever his website was to download or even view his videos. Now, when he died, all that changed.
Right.
It's like you got so many dedication videos of Prince now on the air. And it's really strange how his career and my career was doing this, and we were coming together. And he had done my song, which was unbeknownst to me, You're the One for Me, since 2006.
Yes, yeah.
He was opening up all of his shows with You're the One for Me. And I didn't find out that he was doing my music till 2013 when I get a call, 11 o'clock at night, from his keyboard player, Mars. Mars like, yo, Train, what's up? I was like, hey, how you doing, man? He said, Prince wants your blessing. I said,
7 years later?
I know. I said, Prince Monkey D? Prince, what Prince you talking about? What Prince you know? From the Fat Boys? What Prince you talking about?
No, you're talking about Prince
And he
Charles.
said,
You know
no,
what I'm
Prince wants your blessing. I said,
Wow.
Okay. Well, you know what? Give it to the brother. Tell him he has it. And, my blessing's on the 21 nights at the L.A. Forum.
Yeah.
And so what he did was he played it for 21 nights at the L.A. Forum. And when he died, unfortunately, last year, I get a phone call from the Boston Pop Symphony Orchestra in Boston. And like, D-Train, we need somebody to sing Purple Rain with the orchestra. I've never performed with orchestra in my life. And I was like, okay. And I went out to Boston, performed at Symphony Hall, and they were like, would you like to go on tour? I said, hell yes.
Of course.
And I toured with the Boston Pops all last year and singing Purple Rain. Singing Purple Rain.
It's the length of your music. I mean, again, from, Michael and, working with Mary J. and, Burt Bacharach. You just, again, you're a renaissance guy in the game because you can touch anything. I mean, you've even worked with Disney. I mean, you've done Pokemon. I mean, it's not too many people who can say that.
Diverse.
And, right, and that just means you're a chameleon. And that should be you definitely should do seminar conversations with a lot of artists because I think artists are so
Definitely
boxed
need that.
and they feel like, I do one genre of music and nobody's gonna like me here if I do this or if I don't keep it real, So I think his music is expression, it's an art form, and if you can't, do other things, then you're missing the point.
Well, what I feel about music is there was a time in history where music was colorless. It wasn't black, it wasn't white. It wasn't green, it wasn't purple. James Brown in 1967 on the Dick Cavett show had 39 white children sitting on the floor singing, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Yeah. Now, I know they got spankings when they went home, and they had to have a conversation with mom and dad, but they was on the floor like, say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And they were all white. Because, black kids didn't get invited till Soul Train came out. So it was like, they all white saying, I'm black and I'm proud.
All those shows.
Yeah. And then you got black kids singing Elvis songs in the ghetto from his films.
Yeah.
So, Tom Jones, I grew up in a church, Washington Temple Church of God in Christ, where Ronnie Dyson was my choir director. Al Sharpton was my junior church minister. So I got an education about the business at a young age. And, I had to get permission to leave to come out here and sing from the pastor. It was like, so, son, I hear you're doing that worldly music.
That's me and my brother grew up in church. My mother called it bibbidi bop music. Only play that bibbidi bop music, all loud and everything.
And he said, son, as long as you keep God first and stay humble, God will bless you and your journey will continue. And my mother told me something when I was like 13, because when I was in the choir, I used to love Stevie Wonder. So I get up there, I'd be like, oh man, in grace. And she would just sit there in church and look at me like,
Boy, I'm a bust him when I see
and then the legs start tapping. You know in church, you know you get
when
it.
I get you outside.
You know she may take you behind the choir stand, but you gonna get it before 3 o'clock.
I've had that happen to me a couple of times.
Yeah, because you know, back in the day, church wasn't 2 hours long. It was 8 hours long, man.
You went to our church. You went to our church.
9 in the morning to like 7 at night, man. And we had broadcasts at 10 o'clock. So it was like, I was in there from 9 in the morning to 11 at night.
Yeah, no, we went Saturday after church, choir rehearsal. We left for church at 9 in the morning. We didn't get home till 12 minutes and got to get up 8 o'clock in the morning for Sunday.
YPWW. Young people willing and working. I mean, we went through it all. But what happens is it set us a foundation of the bar that you would not go beyond in this business. You know, I've been offered drugs, and I started out my career on the road with my band, opening up for Parliament Funkadelic in the Barcades.
How was that?
And James Alexander of the Barcades made me roadworthy. He said, I'm gonna make you roadworthy, man, young brother. And he was a little bit older than me. And so he says, every town we go to, I'm gonna grill you on where we're staying, what room you in, what town we in, how you leave the hotel, how you get back to the hotel. And he drove me around through Atlanta, Georgia. He said, now where you staying? What street we on? What room you in? And he did this every town that we went to, North Carolina, South Carolina, even though we were on tour buses and checking in the hotels, because back then, everybody was on a tour bus.
Right.
We got to, and the rock groups and the black groups crossed paths. We'd be out there with Ozzy Osbourne and Journey and Randy Jackson. That was when he was playing for them. And it was like you run into anybody at one of those truck stops. Unless it was like the promoter who didn't have the money. That was when it got gangster.
That was Big Red. That's Big Red.
Gangster, that dude talking about, well, I ain't got the money for the Gap band, so, you know, y'all just got to go home. I remember one night in North Carolina, I saw all 5 bands go back to their tour buses, and guns was coming out left and right. I thought it was the Wild West. My manager carried a silver briefcase, and he went back and got his piece. I was like, damn, Tom, what, you carry guns? I ain't trying to die out here in the road, you know? And they took the promoter to his mama's house where he was hiding the money underneath his mother's mattress.
Wow.
And everybody got paid that night, but it was like, that was the way it was back in the day. You know, radio has changed so much because back then, you had to travel the country with an envelope.
Right.
A big envelope, with several envelopes inside, and be like hitting people off.
Well, that's I'm gonna take a quick break, but that's why I want to come back with you because you obviously did Sirius Satellite XM in the early days, and that was kind of the transformation from the envelope radio to the digital radio. So I'm gonna come back and get more into that. We're talking to a legend, James D. Train Williams. Come on back.
Hey, what's good, y'all? This is 950 Kev. And now 950 Lounge has its own new app on Android devices. Yes, 950 Lounge has its own app. You can go get old shows, information on the cast, and all up-and-coming events. Go to your Android store now. It's 950 Lounge Radio, and you can't miss it. 950 Lounge Radio gets you everything you want on the greatest show, the best team in radio, and all the information that you just want to find that nobody else can tell you. It's the 950 Lounge app. Get it today.
We're back on the ride, 950 Lounge, Saturday morning. Again, thank you for taking some time out to join us on this great show we have today. Still joined by the legendary James D. Train Williams. And through this 35 years of music, you find yourself about 16 years ago at this new fledgling data network. That might have been before Stern got there, or around the same time.
Yeah, it was before Stern got there.
Before Stern.
Yeah.
And you found yourself at Sirius Satellite, and you're doing obviously Heart and Soul. Talk about that experience. Obviously, again, a guy who comes from the church, the 8-track, and you know, the envelope we talked about earlier. To now,
we ain't got no envelope.
Well, you wouldn't get anything.
Don't get it wrong. People still are using envelopes.
Yes, they
Oh,
are.
yeah? Wow. Well, no, you know what they're doing? Instead of paying the promotional director, they're now paying the promotional guy for the radio station. So, you know what I mean? It's like PR has changed hands. It's like we ain't going to hit off the promotion director of the radio station like a Skip Dillard in New York.
Right.
But we're going to find the promo guy that can get it to Skip Dillard and ask Skip to do it. So it's changed in that vein where it's not going directly into the radio station's hands because the government is running everything just like they run in Atlantic City now. It ain't in the hand of gangsters. It's in the hand of the IRS. You know what I mean?
But it's also falling into the hands of your local DJs. See, we forget a lot of people, a lot of DJs that are now at these radio stations doing these shows are actually right here promoting, right here in the Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Staten Island, promoting and doing parties.
Right.
So right now, it's easy to get your music on the radio and hitting those DJs up, because once I know you and you know him and me and you are cool, you're going to put in the work to him. I'm going to slide you that check, and now you already going to be playing my music in the local establishments that's doing the after work parties, that's doing all of that stuff. So once you get in your street credibility up, now you're going to be hitting the shows out there in Barclays and things like that.
True.
So it's definitely you know still flowing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
On the lower level.
So did you find that with the Sirius satellite, where now that the game had changed a little bit, what Sapphire is saying, it was not just the dial anymore?
With Sirius, everything went through the top heads like Mel Karmazin and Joe.
Right.
You know, nothing in terms of like nepotism or things that if they wanted BJ Stone to play a record or something like that or program their record, they just pretty much brought it up there because the label brought them up there. So when Angie Stone had something new, Music Soul Child had something new, they just went straight directly to the source. I think Sirius was a great experience for me because it taught me how to shut up and listen. You know, because when we have general conversation, we so used to, I believe what you said. Yeah, you're right, man. And they're like, D-Train? Okay, so let me explain how this works. And it was like, when they speak, you shut up because we got to cut it up in the excerpt.
But that had been different from what you initially experienced. So that was kind of a change.
Yeah, it was definitely a change. You had, when I first started Sirius, you had 2-minute breaks. Then it went down to 1-minute breaks. Then it went down to 25 seconds to say everything you had to say in a break. And I'm like, you want me to say Janet Jackson came from Gary, Indiana and was, you know, Joseph and Janet. They want you to give information, but you have 25 seconds. If you said it in 26 seconds, you got called into the principal's office. Wow. You took 26 seconds.
And obviously that's because the paid subscription almost like run-on music, you know, nonstop.
Right. But, you know, they loved me up there because I could tell stories that the regular DJs couldn't talk about. You know, they had DJs from Kiss FM, WBLS, and they could talk about interviewing Luther. They could talk about, you know, having Luther, going to a Luther show. I could talk about, well, me and Luther was sitting in the studio, and, you know, we were singing collard greens together. I watched him order 2 corned beef sandwiches for himself.
I watched him when he was one of his fans. He lost some weight.
And had 2 bags of corn chips. I remember we did Dance with My Father. He had 2 bags of corn chips. No, 2 bags of, what do you call those? Pork rinds. Pork rinds. 1 barbecue and 1 regular. And then he ordered 2 corned beef sandwiches, and I'm looking at him like,
this is the skinny.
This is for you and the. No, this is Big Luther Dance with My Father.
This got to be Big Luther, right?
Paparazzi. And then he looked at the engineer and said, "So what do you want?" I was like, "But you just ordered." Now, if anybody from New York City, Carnegie Deli sandwiches, the corned beef was up there.
He had 2 of those.
He had 2 of those for himself.
That's a big sandwich.
And I was like, "Dog, really? You gonna eat those before we leave here?" They were gone by the time I finished first verse.
You have a diet soft drink with it?
Oh, you know that, man. You gonna get him a Pepsi, a Coke, and a smile. Yeah, he was in it. He was in it. But you know what? Like Sirius Radio also taught me you could reach a lot of people. Yeah. There's a lot of people in the Midwest. Because I had a lot of white fans that I didn't know about. Wow. You know, in Idaho and places like that you don't get to do.
And during those early days, you know, it wasn't as easy to navigate that.
Right.
It was just in cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Sirius XM, you know, aside from teaching me, I got to hang out with a lot of people. I think I was one of the few people to interview Jet Li. You know, when he comes in, and at the time, I was studying martial arts. I studied Taekwondo for 8 years. And BJ Stone, he was the program director. He was studying, he was a 2nd degree black belt in Taekwondo. And at the time when Jet Li came, I was fighting in tournaments at West Point. And then I got my butt kicked really bad. And this whole arm was blue. And I'm coming into work. So Jet Li's sitting there looking at me. He's like,
That's how they found the woodshed.
He's like, he looked at me like I was an abused child. I was like, well, Jet, you know, I got all your films, man.
He ain't going to talk no garbage about me.
I was like, I like Once Upon a Time in China. Can you teach me a little something? Because a brother needed to know. But, you know, it was because I had surgery in my right leg. I blew out my knee. And they put too much scar tissue wound up being in there. And when I went and fought in the last tournament, it locked in my knee. And when the dude said, Hana, I was like, okay, this ain't gonna happen. And the dude just started kicking and punching. I'm like, I'm guarding myself, but it was like, this foot would not move. Wouldn't move. And so, but it's been an interesting ride. I think I'm one of the few artists, along with the OJs, who's done Soul Train 4 times.
Yep.
In 2 different countries. I don't think the OJs did Soul Train in Europe because there's a Soul Train in London with Jeffrey Daniels.
Yes.
And I did Top of the Pops.
They had an Asian girl
which is the
out there
equivalent.
too.
Oh yeah. She was on one of these shows recently. She still looks good. I said, go ahead, girl.
You know, age, girl.
I'm telling you, her formaldehyde is working too.
Yes. So D-Train, I got a question for you. So,
Sure.
So how was it for your first time going outside the country to perform?
Well, you know what? First time I went outside the country to perform, I was doing Top of the Pops with Sting and the Police. They had Synchronicity. So we were doing that television show, and it turned me out musically as a songwriter because then I was exposed to groups like Spandau Ballet with True, Everything But the Girl, Go West. And I was like, wow, what type of music is this? You know, and then Soul to Soul came along, and that was something different. And I think I started writing for different artists over here based off of my London experience, because even the way they mix songs, they use different EQs and different reverbs. I came back here and I started writing for George Duke's album Into the Night, and I wrote 2 songs for that album. I wrote for Patty Austin's I forgot the Carry On album. I wrote a song for her, and she wanted to fly me out to L.A. to sing backgrounds with James Ingram and Michael McDonald. She was going to call us the Trinity.
Michael McDowell, to me,
that's my dude.
Powerful voice.
That's my dude.
Yes,
and what happened was, GRP, Dave Grusin's label, got sold to MCA, and they cut her budget in half. And so she was like, D-Train, remember that flight I told you I booked? It ain't about to happen right now.
You can take the D-Train.
If you can catch anything else, you feel like taking a bus ride? I said, I ain't gonna sit on no doggone bus for a week to sing some background vocals, girl. You ain't got enough money in that check.
We're talking to James D-Train Williams, talking about the music business. Now, again, do your history. Give me, and you've worked with everybody, so this might be tough. So I'm going to put you on the spot a little.
Okay.
Give me your top 5 artists or collaborations that you've done that stick out like a sore thumb.
I would say my top 5 was...
Gotta be Michael.
Oh, definitely Michael Jackson.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. James, go on the other side. Don't touch me. Bette Midler was a cool experience doing her album. I did the Sheer Believe album, and we sang on the song The Power. That was wonderful being in the studio with her. Singing for the Pope in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, my gosh.
With, it was me, Jennifer Hudson, Harry Connick Jr., Gloria Estefan, and then doing Quincy Jones' 75th anniversary at the Nokia Studios in New York with Ashford and Simpson and everybody, and Patty Austin. It's been a wonderful ride. I did Patty's album years ago, and then she called me back and said, would you write for me? I think that was like, wow. You know, because she had heard what I did for George, so she called me in. So those would be my top 5 experiences.
Incredible experiences.
Well, you know, it's been a fun ride, because I think when you place yourself in the universe of acceptance, see, a lot of times our egos tells us, oh man, well, you know, I done did this, I don't need to step down off my pedestal to do that. But sometimes when you humble yourself and you lower yourself down, see, my mother always told me, if you bow your knees before God, He will raise you before kings. Amen. And so I've always been humble enough to bow myself before God, because what she also told me, she said, it's not about you. It never has been and never will be. Because when you're gone, they're going to replace you with somebody else. See, there's 4 stages in the artist's life.
You need to talk to Trump right now.
No, I don't even want to talk to him. I don't even want to look at the TV when he's on. Old lying bastard. But anyway.
Wow.
But what happens is, reality, there's 4 stages in an artist's life.
Yes.
Get me D-Train. Get me a younger D-Train. Get me somebody that look like D-Train.
Shave your head like D-Train.
Get me D-Train. and it circulates all the way back to you. So my career has come full circle, and I'm back where I started from. I'm writing a new album. I've got a new single out there with Lenny Fontana called When You Feel What Love Has.
That you got to get us.
Yeah, I got to get it to you. They're playing it at Yankee Stadium games. The Mets was losing.
Listen, I should have known that. Wait, on that note, the Mets won 3-0. They won 3-0 last night.
Well, that's because they just started playing a song at that stadium. That's what's happening.
So now you're winning in both stadiums right now.
Can you play that song at Jet games this year?
No.
Thank you. Don't let them taint to your brand. Don't let them taint. That's tainting your brand. Don't let them taint your brand.
I'm still pissed off that Geno Smith is a Giant. Are you serious? I'm a Giant fan. Odell Beckham Jr., baby.
Thank
all
you.
the way.
Giants all the way.
Wow, James, you were vibing, man.
Thank you.
This interview is over.
This is over now. You're a Jets fan. Leave. Thank you, James, for coming by. Peace. 950 Lounge right here on Saturday morning. Yes, James had to have breakfast.
Green donuts. Oh, man. But real quick, miss, we could talk to you for hours, and we definitely got to have you back.
Yes, please. I'll come. I will be here with bells on, man. I love you guys.
Don't take the Cross Bronx.
Yeah, right. Oh, no, man. This time I might even take the train up here if you get here quick.
No, don't do that. You won't make it.
You'll never make it.
You won't make it. I'll drive. Funny on weekends.
Let's keep the name. Don't.
But real quick, where can people find you at? Information, communicate?
You can find me at James D. Train Williams, Facebook.com. And you know, I have a James D. Train Williams page. I have a D. Train fan page. So you can check me out there. And I'm getting other sites up and things as I go along. Putting together a new, promotional staff team,
Network.
Shirley's sitting back there with a thumbs up.
Shirley's gangster now. You may not make it.
I know, right? She said, you see your face.
Like my harpo, remember?
And you know what? She put up that one finger. She put up that one finger.
Like his.
She was like,
that's the wrong finger, but we ain't gonna do it.
Well, continued success, my brother.
Thank you. It's been an honor
35
to be
going
with you.
on another 50.
Yes.
And we keep moving.
blessing you, man.
Thank you so much. God bless you guys. I hope to be here.
Yeah, you're about 40 years old, bro.
I'm thankful. Thank you very much.
Really good.
Thank you very much.
You were sweating when he said it. He was like, good.
I know,
I said he
man.
said 40.
I'm feeling the lights.
James D. Train Williams.